about. Other parts are oiled more than others, Bo. Yes, that is a loaded answer, Bo. And no, you don't have to. You don't have to go any deeper into it, unless you want to know about how I.
You know I want to get deep.
Unless you want to know how I unload.
You what? You what?
Unload. It's a loaded question about me unloading, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I'm with you now. I'm sorry.
It was a lube based joke. I mean,
I would say what 90% of our comedy is lube based.
I would like to say that's probably on the money.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to Duncan and Bo Lube Up. Now, this is actually Duncan and Bo. Come correct. This season continues to be the eternal Duncan and Bo slash fiction as we trudge our way through season 3 of Slasher. The good news is there's only 3 episodes left.
It might as well be 100, but honestly, this is never going to end. Is honestly it's up there amongst the worst TV I've ever fucking seen, like ever seen. And this episode just reminded me of all the reasons. It's a nice 50-minute way of showing all the ways the show can fuck me off.
See, I wait till the last minute to watch Slasher these days because there's always a chance I could die. And I don't want the last act on Earth to be watching Slasher because I think that means you can't get into heaven.
Yeah, but Bo just waits to stares at his phone to see if he gets any better offers.
Yeah, right.
Someone might ask me to do something. Someone might pass away. Like anything is better than this.
Yeah, right. Like, what if I end up either dying or being a pallbearer? Either side of that funeral is better than watching season 3 of Slasher. I would contend that last episode was worse.
Last episode was worse, but this was transparently bad.
Yeah, right. I've got a couple of lines picked out.
Yeah,
just to discuss because there are a couple of moments in this episode where I was like jaw on chest.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe that these characters are talking like this. I don't know that anything has reached the dizzying lows of, hey C3, you look PO'd.
Oh no, that is the worst line ever.
That hurts your heart, Duncan. That's a line that'll.
See if writers could be court-martialed. That's a court-martialable offense right there.
Yeah, if Kyle Rittenhouse had written this episode, he would not have gotten off. He would be in prison as we speak, Duncan. No jury would have ever let him off. I don't care how white in Wisconsin it is. So, was that too far? Already, you think?
I don't know. It's your country. I don't know.
We'll see.
My country. If that had happened, that prick would have went to prison. Like there would have been no ifs, no buts, nothing. He would have went.
The
100%. If someone shoots someone in this country, they go to prison. So there isn't a kind of, well, did he do it himself? No. If you kill someone with a gun in this country, you go to prison. Let alone 2 people and injured a third one. Or was it, did he murder 3? I can't remember. I'm using the word murder because that's what he is. He's a murderer. So yeah, in this country that I live in, there's not a, don't want to be pompous or anything like that, but there's not even the debate of will he get off? He just goes. So he doesn't go for as long as they do in your country. You put people away for much longer, but he goes. So
I gotta say, Alan McPherson chiming in early with a very funny line about Slasher, saying that if you were conceived during an episode of Slasher, you become a werewolf, like Oliver Reed from Curse of the Werewolf. Where like you don't have to get bit by a wolf or nothing, just enough heinous shit has to happen that it's like, oh, you're an animal. Well played, sir. Well played. Well done. Hey, before we get properly started on
Yes.
the actual show,
Hmm.
so I am going to let me find a thing that I am going to put on the screen. But
Oh.
yeah, get ready, everyone. Shit's about to get real in here. No,
Oh dear.
the thing that I want to drop in is a QR code.
Oh.
So if you are watching this video, the QR code I'm going to drop in, and I'll explain what's happening here. So, Duncan, there is Christmas. Have you heard of this?
I believe I am aware of the concept. Having two children now, and one for at least 7 years, means that I understand that when this comes around, this season is for them.
Okay, so right, and so
Yes.
you will now see a QR code on the screen. Here's the scoop. This QR code will take you to an Amazon wish list,
Mm-hmm.
and I am currently. I was going to say in negotiations. The negotiations are over. This is all done. I'm going to be Santa Claus for a charity for a nearby
Mm-hmm.
town, a place called Ashland City, that is uh, fairly economically challenged is probably the way to put this.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of the wealthier communities in the area. Not like myself, not living in a mansion on the hill like I do, Duncan. These are
Well, I mean, yeah, Bull Palace.
yeah, that's my new rap album. The, no, these are people that, in a lot of cases, are just down on their luck and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, what I'm doing is I'm working with the Civitan organization for Ashland City, and we've put together, in some cases, you're like, I don't even know where my money's going. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sending people money, but I don't know where that money, what's happening with that.
Yep.
And so, what you can do is you just go to this wish list, and that is now in the center of your screen, and it'll take you to the Amazon deal. You just buy the gift. There are gifts that range from like $7-8 all the way to 50 or 60.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you buy the present. It goes to the lady that runs the organization, and um, at on December 4th, I will actually be playing Santa for the toy run there, and they're doing a tree
Mm-hmm.
lighting and stuff like that. So I'm going to be there for all of that business. And yeah, so if you would, I can verify that this is legitimately a good thing to do for people. And the parents come, like, here what they do is they put all the presents on tables, Duncan,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of organize them by like size and how much they cost and that kind of thing. And so the parents come in and they're just handed a basket, and they're like, okay, you can get 2 presents from this table and 3 presents from this table and a present from this table, and you throw all that in your basket. There you go home, wrap it up, and now you got Christmas for your kids. So
That's awesome, man.
so if you would, it would be great, if you find folks would, buy a gift or two. And I'll tell you, we've got almost 100 gifts already sold right now, all already bought,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even December yet. So we're hoping for a couple 300 by the end of the day, which would be, like,
Incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that I tell people about this is like, no bullshit. You buy a present, and then a kid has a present under the tree.
Yeah.
That is a 1-to-1. This is how this works. So, anyway, enough of that, Duncan. Enough of goodwill toward men. Like, now we can get back to the nonsense that we are so proudly known for.
Yeah. Goodwill to all men is not a sentence that was uttered during the making of Slasher season 3.
Oh no. Um,
Is that dick stabbing? and Dick stabbing must have been near the top.
Yeah, they were just like, we're gonna get in as much. I'm gonna get in as much dick stabbing per episode. And they were like, look, you just can't do it every episode. It's like, well, what if we just stabbed a dick a whole bunch of times in one episode? And they were like, that's totally fine.
Let's just get out of our system now.
Yeah. All right. So enough of the charity business. You know, we can get back to just saying, to hell with those kids. I mean, who cares? Who cares if they have a good Christmas? That's
like literally flipped this on its head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, and here's the thing. I always said, like, hey, if we get to 200 gifts, I'm gonna combine my Sasquatch and Santa costumes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so you will get a Santa Squatch if we reach 200 gifts. That's the Santa Squatch promise. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so let's get to our filthy business. Speaking of filthy business, it is time to talk about movies, one good, one bad, that perhaps we have seen here in the last couple of weeks. And go ahead and kick us off here.
I'll kick us off with the bad. Children of the Corn is not a good movie.
Are you talking OG? The 84?
It's not good. Yeah, 84 is not a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at actually how bad it is. So I watched it a couple of years ago. It was part of that. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I watched it for the company 88 Films in the UK, put out as part of their, wait for it, Slasher Classics collection. You know, that infamous slasher movie, Children of the Corn. And it's about as slashery as most of the things in that collection. I remember watching it then and going, I don't know if this is actually that good a movie. And I'm doing the entire franchise this December as part of my Russian Roulette franchise retro that I'm doing Podcast Under the Stairs. And I got that shiny 4K UHD Arrow print. And I was like, I'm going to watch this. And I brought the Baz round because the Baz is going to be doing that review with me. We got him round to the house. We sat in the old entertainment room that I'm in just now, shoved it on the big screen, and I watched it. And about halfway through it, I just kind of looked up and I was like that. Yeah, this really isn't a good movie. It's like really is just like a pretty poor movie. And then by the end of it, I was just like, actually, I like it boggles the mind that there are 10 movies essentially in this franchise, like off the back of this. And you do a bit of digging around. I mean, it's a short story that Stephen King published in Penthouse magazine.
Right.
That became a 1.5 hour movie, which then spawned sequels. And I can't quite put my finger on exactly the bit that makes it like a terrible movie. I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. Not great acting, not a lot of story. Like it meanders a lot. It's just a lot of, we're going to run to this place. Oh, there's kids here that are creepy. Then we're going to run to this place. Oh, guess what? There's kids here that are creepy. And then like the two main the two main antagonists in the movie, Isaac and Malachi, are both of them are kind of, they're not great either. It's just
he wants you, Malachi.
Yeah.
That's my favorite is when possessed Isaac gives Malachi some shit. That's, I mean, is it good? No. Does it entertain me?
No.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It just is. I don't know. The thing is about it, because everyone's been chipping in with their comments on various, wait till you get. And I have seen the first 4, but I've never seen past part 4. And everyone's like, oh yeah, urban corn or whatever it is, the third one. Oh yeah, you're gonna have fun when you get to that third one. You're gonna have fun. And I remember watching it for the first time, like I say, for that 88 films collection thing, and thinking, oh, it's all right. And then I watched it tonight, and unless something comes along somewhere on it later on in this franchise and really raises the bar, the third one pisses from a great height all over the first one. Third one is so much better. But the third one is basically Hellraiser Part 3.
In fairness, I don't know that I've ever seen past the first one.
So the first one, well, you've seen the first one, obviously. The second one is kind of like not a continuation. None of them are really linked up apart from the first one and the sixth one, because they both involve the character of Isaac. Part 6, Isaac comes back, and he's an old man because he was an old man when he made the first one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like 25 or 26, when he was like there, and by now he's like, well, he's in his 40s, but he's aged quite a bit because he must have that condition where you rapidly age.
Progeria. Or Benjamin Button syndrome, as we like to call
Benjamin Button syndrome, which means the movie's 3 hours long, and not as good as Forrest Gump, but I don't like Forrest Gump anyway. But that's an aside, right? The thing about like part 2 is you're essentially kind of doing the movie over again to an extent. It's like, oh, there are more kids that are slaves to he who lives beyond the row. The third movie, though, is essentially it's 2 kids from Gatlin, the area of Nebraska that thing's in, that are adopted to a family that live in Chicago. And one of them's a creepy wee bastard, and he's essentially the Isaac of this one. And he comes with a suitcase full of corn, which he then plants in an industrial building at the back of his house, which then springs up this tiny little corn crop, but it's completely possessed. And he the effects in it are all like, I would love to find out exactly when this was made. I think it came out in 95, and I can't remember when Hellraiser 3 came out. But if it's in or around that time period, then that makes sense, because Dimension Miramax put out this, and I believe they also put out Hellraiser 3, I think. And it's a lot of the same things. It's like corn wrapping around people, sewing their mouths shut and their eyes shut, and blood being like exsanguinated from them, and tearing their body apart. And I'm like,
all right.
This is Hellraiser. And it's of all the ones I've seen so far, and I've now seen 5 of them, so I'm technically at the halfway mark. Of the 5 that I've seen so far, it is a lot better than the rest, mostly because it just understands that we don't need too much nonsense. What we just need to do is the final act you will love, because it has a kind of a Winter Beast vibe to it, of this kind of weird claymation creature picking up like clearly just a doll and eating her.
So he who walks behind the rose comes out.
Yes, officially comes out, and he is he's like a weird winter beast sort of creature, and it's not good. It's not good effects, and he kind of grabs a girl, and and the camera zooms out, and it's like lifting this little doll up and going to try and eat it, which did make me laugh. Did make me laugh quite a bit, but just across the board, I think the acting's better. I actually prefer the little creepy bastard kid, and so that's where I'm coming in with my bad and my good. I think Children of the Corn, the original one, is actually a bad movie, and I think Part 3 is actually a good movie. So,
is that your good and your bad? All in one
did them
package?
together. Did them together.
Wow.
Did them together. To be honest, I've watched quite a lot of good in the last week, because, like yourself, I am ball deep, as they would say in Scotland, in the old Friedkin movies. And turns out he's a pretty good director, Bo.
I've been watching all the crap ones.
You get them out the way, and then you're just on the murderer's row at the back end.
That's right.
Nice.
So I watched Jade, and I'm watching them Cat Squad movies and that kind of thing.
When was the last time? Here's the question. When was the last time you watched To Live and Die in L.A.?
It's been a long time, and that's pretty soon on my list.
Fucking awesome, man.
That's
I watch that every other year, and every time I watch it, it gets better and better. Real fucking good. So,
okay. So I'll do my good and bad then pretty quick.
Bring it in, Bo. Bring it in.
Just an FYI,
Uh-huh.
there was a problem with the video stream a second ago. If that happens again, I'm gonna use a different program. So if you're watching this live, give it like 30 seconds, and then we'll be right back, and that problem should be solved. So apologies for the back and forth here for a second.
Don't apologize to these cunts, Bo.
It's Alan who's saying. Well, he was giving me shit. He said, "Do you even agriculture, bro?" And that's hurtful, because I do agriculture. I had a tomato plant that lived for a solid 6 months, and then I realized,
what do you want from this man?
Yeah, I could make a He Who Walks Behind the Rose. I could do that. I mean, have I? No, but that's because I don't want to.
He doesn't want to. He could, though.
I could. 100% I could.
100%.
1,000,000%.
1,000,000%.
I think
which is still technically 1,000,000% is still technically 100%.
It's just a lot more than 100%.
It's like there's more integers, but the total is still the same.
It's like when a coach tells you to give 110%.
Yeah,
and you're like, that's impossible.
Yeah, that's like we can't do. I understand why you're now a physical education teacher and not a maths teacher, because what you've just asked for is impossible. But there we go.
Okay, so
what do you mean I have to run around this track 100 times? 110 because you're being a smart arse. Great. So.
Yeah, the heart attack comes for Bo at lap 3. The cardiologist is like, look, just don't strain yourself.
Oh my god, I'll try and see if I can dig it out and send it to you. Over in the UK just now, one of my favorite comedians on the planet at the moment is a Scotsman by the name of Frankie Boyle. I think he's hilarious, right? He has a very left-leaning sort of political, view of the world, and he mixes it in with his incredibly dark comedy. I mean, he's like it's really, really, really dark. He's a dour Scottish bastard. I don't know if the word dour translates over there, but it just means just in general glum.
Okay, dour, I think is how we would pronounce it here.
Yeah. So that's just the way he is, and he was doing. At the end of he does this TV show where he gets comedians on, and he puts forward a couple of very funny statements that are deliberately designed to be funny, but also at the same time, they highlight a point, an issue, a problem with the political situation in the UK or the world, and but he always finishes the show with a kind of surreal monologue, which I fucking love. I like every single one. It's just like he just tells a story, right? And the stories get weirder and weirder, and the way he describes things is very, very funny. And he's this week's one, he was talking about he was talking about like a fantasy of these two swimwear models looking across a room at him and going, look at that, buff Scotsman, has he been working out? I think he is. Another one's like, yeah, I think he's really, really sexy. Yeah. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Is it sex? And he says that one of them like mouths over the word sextum, and he can't describe exactly what happens because it's behind an OnlyFans paywall. But suffice to say, his cardiologist said to him that during the act he had what he would class as a wake-up call, which about fucking ended me. I'll send it to you. Everyone needs to check his stuff out anyway. He does he does some very, very, very dark humor, like very dark, but when he's on the BBC he's not allowed to do that, so he has to rein it in a little bit, but it's very, very, very funny.
I had to recently, and by recently I mean just this past week, I had to go to my cardiologist. Well, and like there was